Welcome to the 150th episode of Variety Tech Today. We've got a few topics we can discuss. One is the iPhone 16 that just came out. And as we know, the term they've been using is spatial video for their 3D camera. So it was interesting to see on the product page, to see in the description, it says you can even take photos and videos in 3D and relive these moments in immersive 3D. So I appreciate them using the real term and not, trying to mystify the whole thing and make people think it's proprietary. Another interesting feature, not related to 3D, but related to video, is it will now have the option for AI sound enhancement straight in the camera. And this is a nice feature in recent years. I used to use a old-fashioned boom mic for my earlier documentaries. Hold it over with my arms, hold it over the person. Another option is to use AI to clean up the audio, and that's getting better and better, so it's nice to have that option in camera. But anyway, how is the 3D on the iPhone 16? How much has it improved? And the key question would be, if you have an iPhone 15 already, is it even worth upgrading? Well, one factor would be to take a look at the lenses. Here's a close-up of the iPhone 16. So right there you can see it still uses the same principle. One lens is the primary lens, the good lens. I'm actually filming with an iPhone 15 right now. The direction that I'm holding it currently, the good lens is the left eye, and the wide-angle lens is the right eye. And that wide-angle lens is cropped, so it loses some quality there. Now, the one thing that if you're watching this in 3D, you might notice is, as we've mentioned before, you're going to get shallow depth of field with the primary lens and just flat focus with the other lens. So especially with closer up shots, perhaps like this, that can be a little annoying to look at, a little distracting, depending on the subject. But there is one improvement if you have the Pro model. If you have the basic iPhone 16, the wide angle lens, the ultra wide, is still going to be only 12 megapixels, and when that's cropped, it's going to look pretty low resolution. It's not even going to look full HD. So there's going to be a big clarity contrast. However, if you have the Pro model, that has now been upped. So it's going to be 48 megapixels for all three lenses. So that'll help matching with the clarity. Not with the depth of field, but with the clarity. That'll help a little. And as for video resolution, no, there hasn't been any improvement. You can still get third-party apps like Spatialify and Spatial Camera that will allow you to record in 4K 3D or half width or high frame rate 1080p. But there are real shortcomings with these, like Spatial Camera had missynchronization between the two. Spatialify's camera stabilizes the two in a very clunky way with artifacts around the edges, and more importantly, it doesn't match the two completely accurately. So parts of the image will be lined up with each other and other parts won't be. I mean, in major ways that can cause eye strain. So for now, the stock camera app is the best way to record spatial videos, and even in the iPhone 16 it still remains at 1080p at 30 frames a second. But it's worth getting watchable 3D video. So hopefully in a future model, the real improvement will come by having matching lenses. I don't know if they'll do this, but matching lenses so they both have matching depth of field, matching resolution, and have the option for higher frame rates and Ultra HD 3D. So moving on to the next topic, we got viewer requests. Bryce Barnett, he had an interesting request, and that is that we should have 3D predictions. And more specifically, he said you should have a conservative prediction, a realistic prediction, and an outlandish prediction. That's not impossible, but something that you would like to see. Alright, so starting off with the conservative prediction, I would like MVHEVC to be adopted by major streaming services. This is the frame-packed 3D format that supports Ultra HD and higher frame rates in 3D. This is what the iPhone records 3D in. It's what 3D movies are streaming in on the Apple Vision Pro. This should just be a one-stop codec that can be backwards compatible. No need for confusing side-by-sides, anamorphic. Just stream this frame packed, have it adapt to different screens. This codec is old. It's not new. It's not from Apple. They did make an update to it that enabled HDR, but otherwise it's been waiting in the wings forever and long overdue. MVHEVC, or multi-view high efficiency video codec. It's like the 3D version of H.265. This should be the standard. Now, as for a realistic 3D prediction, I guess it depends on how you view realistic, but I would say we need new Ultra HD 3D projectors and TVs. Now, that might sound like a fantasy, but technically it's extremely realistic, and you know why? Because they already exist. It's just that it needs to be standardized. Said it before, my old Samsung Active 4K 3D television can currently play back Ultra HD 3D content that I produce myself in side-by-side 4K format at up to 60 frames a second. So it's nothing to do with unreachable processing power or inability. I can burn an Ultra HD Blu-ray right now with half-width 4K high frame rate 3D content and play it back on that TV, and it looks stunning. Granted, it's half the resolution of full 4K, but it's double the resolution of full HD. And since they already have a growing library of these movies in MeHEVC, it's just the next organic step in creating a ecosystem of next generation 3D content that is not limited to uncomfortable, expensive headset. Even if the price came down, it's apples and oranges. There's totally different markets for people who do not want to watch their movies on a headset. It's not a replacement. And more options gives you a bigger market. Now, as for the outlandish prediction, I already mentioned I can burn a half resolution 4K 3D disc, but I'm sure many of us would love Ultra HD Blu-ray update for 3D, and I highly doubt that's going to happen. But I would honestly be satisfied with a streaming version that is viewable on 4K 3D projectors and TVs. That's probably more likely if such a thing is ever to happen. That will be the way it'll go, most likely. But from an outlandish perspective, I think that's what we'd like, but that may never get off the ground. Who knows? Another viewer request was from Go Find Fun. He said the 150th episode should be about you. So, I guess I'll tell you about myself a little bit. First of all, I was born at a very early age in a year, in a place, to a family, and in my spare time I enjoy doing things and stuff. So hopefully that cleared things up. In fact, we probably have a lot in common based on that description. But seriously, my name's Jonathan, you already know that. Secularly, I was an aide for special needs kids for well over a decade. Currently, I do gig work, both driving gig work and video gig work. I've done like video commercial content for businesses, social media content, videos for in-house use, private events, videos and photos. all stuff along that line. You can see samples on my website, varietyfilms.net. And of course, original films you've seen there as well, seen trailers for. So besides doing that to earn a living, I'm a full-time volunteer minister. That involves various things like helping to care for needs of those in my congregation, sometimes helping those in other areas of the region, writing and delivering sermons, reaching out to the public, preaching and teaching, and one-on-one Bible studies as well, like either virtually or in person. So that is me in a nutshell. Well, the sun is going down, so I am out of here, but you're going to want to stay tuned for upcoming episodes. Besides periodic 3D news and upcoming reviews, we're going to have a special episode next time, an interview / review. Well, you'll see what I mean. See you next time.